In this episode, our crew travels from Alaska through Canada all the way to Montana. Ken Faught and team hit the famous Glacier National Park and do a wide range of activities in Big Sky Country. We also give you a close-up look at Forest River's incredible No Boundaries 16.6 beat mode trailer and much more. It's all coming up next on Off-Road Travel TV.
Presented by Beta, the official motorcycle of Off-Road Travel TV.
After the crew left Skagway, Alaska, they headed back to Canada to see some more amazing sights. They drove about 1,600 miles over the course of several days, and the views are spectacular and the camping spots are amazing. The route home took them through Montana, but before hitting the border, they had to make one very important stop.
One of our goals was to hit Lake Moraine and Lake Louise, and we've made it. These are two of the most beautiful lakes in all of North America. Although these two spots are packed with tourists during the summer, I wanted to do something special with Wyatt, so we hit the water.
Canoeing on Lake Louise with my dad was a really cool spur-of-the-moment thing. The view there is incredible. I mean, we just showed up and we saw the rental stand and we just said, let's go for it. And we had a really good time. It was just such a beautiful place. You can see the glacier from the water. It's just, I wish I had more words to describe how incredibly beautiful Lake Louise is.
When you're doing adventure travel, you have to be extremely flexible with your schedule. When we're in Canada, there were 600 fires created by lightning, which was absolutely unreal. Never had anything like that in my life. So when we wound up getting up to Lake Louise and Lake Moraine, we stayed a couple extra days longer just so we can try to see if the sun would poke out. But the sun didn't cooperate and we headed south into Montana. After nearly 500 miles on and off-road, we found this really cool dispersed camping spot right on the river. We busted out our ready solar panels to recharge some of our potable batteries, and then used our power tank to make sure our tires had proper inflation. This location was incredible and allowed us to do a variety of vehicle maintenance.
When you're traveling, we definitely would recommend you keep an eye on all your maintenance. Simple things to do are every time you stop for gas, walk around your vehicle and look over things. You should be checking tires, you should be looking for anything that's loose, you should be looking for stuff that's not strapped down. But keep in mind, on a trip like this, you're driving a lot of miles. There's a good chance you're probably gonna need to do things like change your oil, rotate your tires. So keep that in mind when you're planning for this trip.
While camping, we met two guys from Minnesota who are embarking on their own 2-week adventure.
We are riding the Continental Divide Trail from south to north. We started in El Paso and we rode to the southern terminus on the Mexican border, and it's been 3,400 miles north and we made it to the Canadian border today. When we start off each day, we didn't really have a set amount of hours. It was more of a get up in the morning, get our stuff packed up. We were typically on the road at 9 o'clock-ish. And then we had a destination usually set that was within reason. Fuel stops obviously come into play. We were at a gas station twice a day, at least.
When you get into dispersed camping, yeah, it's actually really easy to meet people. For us, it's actually probably easier because we're rolling in on motorcycles with bags, all dusty, and we kind of just attract attention.
The most challenging aspect of tent camping on a motorcycle has been finding a campsite, I would say. Most of the campsites are full in Colorado and in Montana and Wyoming in the summertime. It's been talking to local people at the bars, where can we stay, where should we stay, and that's always produced for us. All the different people that we meet along the way have been amazing. They've made our lives so much better. They have helped us set up camp, gave us places to eat. We even camped right next to a guy's camper because there was nowhere to camp.
If I was going to give advice to somebody that was going to go on a 2-week off-road motorcycle trip, I guess I would tell them do lots and lots of planning ahead of time. I like planning, get everything organized, but then when your plan comes to fruition and you actually need to go out and test everything out, just go with the flow. I mean, your plan is great for setting up like a pre-established, like this is our idea what we want to do, But from there, you just kind of got to just roll with it. Things don't go as planned, you have breakdowns, so you just really got to be able to be flexible.
One of the best days we had wheeling on this trip was actually in Montana. Wyatt and I spent the better part of 2 days off-roading with friends, and it was an absolute blast.
These were some of the tightest trails I've ever driven in the tundra. It was pretty intense, to say the least. Normally, I drive the 4Runner off-road. I'm really comfortable in it and have a good idea of its capabilities. But driving the tundra on trail was something new to me. My dad's truck is a lot wider, a lot longer, and since my bike was on top, it's a lot taller. All the storage boxes add to a very large profile. Luckily, Matt Gurgis spotted for me and that helped a lot. I still hit a few trees, scraped the bumpers a little bit, got some pinstriping, but that's all part of the adventure. Fortunately, there was no major damage.
There's a lot of trails out here that you can take a dirt bike, a UTV, or even push yourself with a built-out Jeep or rock crawler. There's a lot of options to go out and push yourself.
I love watching Wyatt push himself, and I think it's very important that he gets out of his comfort zone every once in a while. During this trip, we have seen so many different things and so many types of terrain. I really appreciate how geography changes so dramatically across the country. You know, Florida looks way different than Vermont, Arizona looks totally different than Montana, and so on. Montana also marked the end of the journey for Robert and Kathy Parks, who are both high school teachers and have to fly back to California for the new school year, and they both learned a lot from this experience.
As a high school teacher, we have a decent amount of time off where I get to go explore the world. Luckily, being married to another teacher gives me that time. Traveling has become a huge part of our life together, and my life is so much richer because of it.
In my opinion, the perfect balance between overlanding and campground camping would be like every 3, 4, 5 days, be able to stay overnight in a campground that has a shower, that has plug-ins where you could actually get yourself cleaned up, maybe do laundry, that kind of thing, and then get back out on the road in the complete wilderness.
Now we just need to head back to camp, pack up, and move on to our next dispersed camping spot.
Getting stuck is part of off-road at nearly every level. Sooner or later, you're bound to have issues and you're gonna need the right gear. Here's why I fought to explain.
Recovery gear can be as simple as a shovel, a handsaw, a tow strap, and recovery boards. The gear can get as fancy as kinetic ropes, winches, and all the rigging and straps. All of this can get you out of some serious trouble, but you have to be aware of the strengths and limitations of the gear. What's super important is that whatever gear you have is properly rated for the vehicle that it is used by. If you have a half-ton truck, carry the right kinetic rope to pull a vehicle out with that half-ton truck. It doesn't matter if you're pulling a big rig or a scooter out of the ditch. Furthermore, there is an order in which your gear is best used. Of increasing intensity, you should have your shovel first, then a handsaw, then your boards, then a recovery rope, and finally your winch. Make sure your gear is accessible so you're more likely to use it when you need it, instead of making it worse by adding more throttle. Trust me, very rarely will adding more throttle recover a stuck vehicle. The best tool you have to get yourself recovered is up here. It's good judgment. Most of the time I've gotten stuck, I could have completely avoided it by having a trail map at my fingertips and knowing when to say no to a feature. Sometimes things just happen, but good judgment and the willingness to quit while you're ahead can and will keep you out of trouble more than any piece of recovery gear can. For our trip, I carried 2 bags of ropes and rigging from Freedom Recovery Gear, 2 sets of max tracks on the top of the truck. On the back, we have a shovel, and up here in the front of the bumper, we have a 12,000-pound winch from Come Up Winches. And if all else fails, break out the gear, start digging, start pulling, and barring any extreme circumstances, you'll get unstuck.
As Matt and Sarah prepare for a long expedition, their focus is on dialing in every detail of the NoBo to make sure that it's the ultimate mobile base camp.
The NoBo 16.6 has proven to be a very comfortable trailer for this expedition. We have a lot more space, one for storage, but also being able to sit around, being able to download, to eat at the dinette, and just to have our own space. In general, a trailer like this helps a lot with your overall vehicle weight. When you build out an overland vehicle, you tend to throw everything on the vehicle itself. So dispersing some of that weight onto the trailer and its own vehicle weight helps alleviate some of that load.
Looking at all the options for traveling, I think there's different times that you want to have a trailer, you know, or just go with a vehicle with a rooftop tent or something like that, or maybe even a ground tent. When we came up with a concept of going on a longer trip, we looked at a lot of different options, and the NoBo is something that is larger, and it has the beast mode suspension, it has a lot of different upgrades on it and stuff, and I felt that it really met a lot of the criteria through it. And being able to watch others live out of it, Matt and Sarah, and be able to have all the cool creative storage areas, I think is a very well thought out design. I like the fact that it's fast to be able to set up. I think that having the slide out is important on here. It's kind of a cool blend of style and function, and provides enough comfort, you know, with it, that the sacrifices you'd make because of the size, I think, you know, are outweighed by all the practicality of the trailer itself.
Some additional upgrades that we did on the trailer were adding roam boxes on the Rhino rack on top of the trailer. We added a second spare tire, and we used Otzi gear tire carriers for additional storage. Around the trailer, we also added KC highlights for perimeter lights, one so we can see when we're setting up late at night, but also just so we can have that extra peace of mind. On the front of the trailer, we swapped out the jack for a Trailer Valet JX5K. Whether it's to get out wheeling or to just check out the town, we're able to unhitch the trailer much faster. For added comfort and peace of mind on the road, we added a Blue Ox Sway Pro weight distribution hitch.
Prioritizing comfort on the road, Matt and Sarah bring in touches from home, allowing them to recharge even in remote places.
It's been very comfortable sleeping in the trailer. We've been able to add a lot of comforts from home to make us not feel as homesick while we're out on the road.
The advantages of a trailer like this are largely the space. You have your own space for a dinette and your own designated space for a bed, and also a separate area for your bathroom. So you have a separate shower and toilet, which has been really nice to have.
You are able to have a bed made whenever you want and a bathroom accessible whenever needed. On this trip, we experienced multiple rainstorms, and it was very convenient being able to just run inside and have the entire home on wheels at our fingertips. It is very convenient being able to cook out of the NoBo's kitchen whenever you want. Compared to our original setup with just our vehicle, it is a whole process taking out all of the kitchen gear, whereas the NoBo, it's all accessible whenever you need.
I learned I really like having AC on board, definitely during summertime. Also, having things like a toilet and a shower are definitely going to drive our next builds in the future.
To tackle the demands of an extended journey, they maximize their space inside and out to make sure they're ready for any adventure.
Obviously, with adding a trailer, you are able to carry and store a lot more gear. When you maximize the storage on the inside and on the outside, you are able to bring all of the necessities that you need for an expedition like this.
The extra storage in the trailer has been really nice to have. We've been able to bring a large generator to charge all our gear, and we've been able to bring a lot more gear for activities.
One of the advantages of having a trailer from a big national company like Forest River is parts availability and support. If you're stranded in the middle of nowhere, you're able to get somebody to communicate with you, somebody to be able to help you, and a lot of the parts are high volume parts, like the refrigerators, the wheel bearings, you know, and different things. So if you have a problem, you're going to stand a better chance of getting it fixed quicker than you are with a lot of smaller companies.
One of the challenges we faced on this trip was due to the size of the trailer. Some of the trails were a little tight and also had some overhanging trees. Being on single track road, turning around could be nearly impossible. So depending on what trails that you normally go, keep that in mind. However, for the most part, going on a fire road trail or going to some epic campsites are most likely capable for this setup. When pulling a trailer, you obviously will be reducing your fuel efficiency. When you add items like bikes and storage boxes or just added gear, you then start to decrease your fuel efficiency from there.
You can stretch out your time off-grid with this setup a little bit more than 7 days, but your only limitation is going to be the gas for the generator and the holding tanks for your water.
Having the solar on the trailer has been great for keeping the battery topped off throughout the day. However, when you're wanting to run the AC or when we're needing to charge all of our camera gear, having a generator is really a must.
Built for the backcountry, the trailer setup gives Matt and Sarah the confidence to keep pushing forward in rugged trails.
If we were to do this expedition all over again, we'd definitely choose this trailer, just because of the added space and also having a bathroom. That's been really nice to have. The beast mode on the trailer has been amazing. It's an independent suspension with shocks and control arms. It's added comfort as well as control along the trail. It's really critical for trips and trails like we did on this past trip. It adds a lot more confidence on the trails.
As the journey continues in Montana, 3 new members of the crew arrive in Kalispell. Travis Arquette is a world-class adventurer, paramotor pilot, and Bering Sea crab fisherman. Adriana Alves is Wyatt's girlfriend and a world traveler. Katharina Bertolino is a CEO of a safety company and a motorsport addict, and one of the most interesting people you'll ever meet.
To me, overlanding is a way to experience the outdoors like nothing else can. We can load up with vehicles, with trailers, with all of our equipment, and we can go to places where no one else can get to.
Overlanding is great because when you don't want to just do the simple camping that everyone else does and you want to get away where there isn't anyone, you take it off-roading, you go where no one else can go, you wake up in the morning with the most magnificent views you've ever seen and not a person in sight.
One of my goals is to be a lot more spontaneous, and that hasn't always been easy for me, but I'm getting a lot better at it.
It's always nice when you can take a break from your actual plan, get off the road, get on some water. Had a boat when I was 21, so it's nice to surprise the guys. Get behind the steering wheel, whip them around a little bit, make them fall off and fly, skipping through the water.
Tubing was really fun, with the slight exception of when Katharina decided to endo me when I was going 60. That hurt the old noggin.
We all took turns driving the boat, and it was really relaxing. Such a great change of pace. The air temp was perfect, the lake wasn't that busy, and everybody got a great chance to unwind. It really was one of the best days of the trip.
For our next adventure, our crew divided up. Most of them drove the famous Going to the Sun Road, while Ken took Katharina on a VIP adventure.
My favorite thing to do in Glacier National Park is driving the Going to the Sun Road. And it takes about 2.5 hours, but it drives through the entire park, and you get to see everything from big mountain peaks to wildlife to rivers, waterfalls, you name it, it's there. It's definitely a highlight of this trip.
This place is simply stunning. There are so many impressive things to see, and the terrain is so rugged. I cannot get enough of Glacier National Park. I will definitely be back.
The best part about travel to me is all the things that you get to see and the new experiences that you get to have with all your friends and with new people too. You meet along the way. Everywhere we go, we meet new people that are excited about everything. They're excited about life, they're excited about travel, they're excited to see new things. And to me, that's part of the experience in a whole. We're getting out, we're getting into nature, we're seeing some of the most beautiful sights that you can see on this entire continent, and we're meeting some amazing people. And to me, that's what travel is about. What I'm loving most about this off-road travel is the amount of range that we can cover. Like, I'm used to hiking, and I can't go that far in a day. But with these purpose-built vehicles, we can cover hundreds of miles in a day, and we can get to the most remote places.
My favorite part of going through the Sun Road was when we were going through the tunnels and started cutting through the switchbacks. You start seeing the valley below, and that was the jaw-dropping moment for us.
This trip is all about making memories and doing really cool things, so I took advantage of an opportunity and surprised Katharina.
I enjoy traveling where no one has ever gone before, so I made myself a huge bucket list so I can experience it and do that overland experience.
We rented a plane for 3 hours, and it was one of the top 5 things I did on the entire trip. Flying gives you an entirely different perspective, and we probably covered about 250 to 300 miles. We got to see some incredible rivers that snake through the valley floor. We flew next to rugged mountains and got to see a wide variety of lakes. We also saw a wide variety of waterfalls, and it was fun to look over at Katharina to know that she was checking something off her bucket list. She was bummed that she missed a helicopter ride in Alaska to go dog sledding and made me promise to take her back there someday. Without question, my favorite part was landing on a grass field in the backcountry. This is a maintained airstrip that has been graded and all the larger rocks removed from the surface. The approach is stunning because you make a left turn over the trees and then drop over 100 feet to the landing strip. It's remarkably smooth and something that very few people will ever experience in their lifetime. We got out of the plane and walked around for a few minutes, and it was really cool knowing that we're about 50 miles from the closest town. Taking off was also a lot of fun. That just adds to the excitement. As we climbed out of the valley, we got to see a lot more incredible sights. We flew about 2/3 throttle, so we were only doing about 130 miles an hour. This allowed us to cover a lot of ground, but since we were flying relatively low, we got to see a lot of things really up close.
Talk about bucket list life, right? Montana, flying and landing in the grass, not on a runway, in the back of Glacier National Park, the highlight of my trip. What I love about Montana is just about everything. It brings me right back to my roots. I'm a little redneck farm girl from Washington State, and I'm telling you, this state, it does not disappoint. From the lakes, to the red barns, to the horses, and of course the cute guys, I love Montana.
Our final activity in Montana was a nighttime driving session in the local mountains. Our KC highlights are incredible, but there's actually about a dozen different circuits, and they're all controlled by a dash-mounted Switch Pros unit. We drove for about 4 hours and would randomly stop to check things out. And of course, Katharina being Katharina, she'd have to stop to take a few social media photos.
This trip has given me the opportunity to really accomplish my goal when it comes to overlanding, which is to go to cool places, make cool memories with the people I love. And that is exactly what we got to do. With me, my dad, and now my girlfriend. It has been really fun to go to these incredible places, get in the dirt, have fun, do stuff that people don't do. And that's what it's all about.